When a congressman forces an FBI director to admit his agency received controversial emails, but told supervisors to stand down, you're witnessing more than evasion, you're seeing the moment institutional accountability crumbles. What Mr. Van just exposed about secret DOJ directives and missing agent data should terrify anyone who believes law enforcement answers to the public, not political masters.
Mr. Van.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Director Patel. In a local situation in Mrvan, Indiana, within my district, I have a high-intensity drug trafficking area, HIDA, which receives federal funding. That works with the local law enforcement. We are the crossroads of America near Chicago. The drugs that you're talking about are transported through those areas all the time. With these budget cuts, can you talk about how those HIDA and agencies will be funded?
Absolutely. Thank you, sir. It's like any other successful mission set that we have at the FBI. And HIDA, I worked on as a terrorism prosecutor as myself. Extremely critical because, like some of the other situations across the country, that region has been recognized, unfortunately, because of the high-intensity drug flow. And in order to countermand it, we have to keep these task forces open, up, and running and funded. But in order to do that, we can't just flood it only with federal funds and federal personnel committed to working with our state and local partners, because that's what makes HIDA successful. My experience in HIDA wasn't in your district, but down in the Southern District of Florida, and I can't imagine it being too different in terms of how we proceed and how to make that successful.
Okay. My next question is, just recently you had a visit to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Just please tell me how that cyber tip line and how that program's future looks with these $500 million cuts.
We actually partner wonderfully with NCMEC, and we've committed to allowing our FBI employees to remain there no matter what. We will find a way to fill that mission set, even if, even under the most austere of budget cuts, because what they do is exceptional. If people don't know, they need to go there and see it. It's right in Arlington, Virginia. They find missing children from 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years ago, and they provide treatment to those that have been abused.
Okay.
And so you have my commitment, sir, that we'll do it.
I appreciate that. And according to the domestic terrorism operations sections, the internal tagging system used to track domestic terrorism investigations was eliminated, and the staff of 16 was reduced. Can you tell me that future and where you hold that program?
Sir, if I may, can I get back to you on that in writing, because I'm not familiar with that off my
Okay.
head.
Then in your written testimony, you had talked about cybersecurity. I'm going to tie two things together. The FBI agents, are they still currently at the end of every week emailing the 5 things that they've accomplished?
I'm glad you raised that point, sir. We never did that.
Okay.
I stopped
The
that.
FBI agents were never asked to put in their goals in which they accomplished?
The-
The reason why I say that is because I had a specific conversation at a retirement party of a chief from an agent who expressed to me that after he had chased a car down 8094 who had stabbed a family member, and he left his home and was able to prevent that individual from killing someone else because it was cross state lines, that he had to go back, and then that next day was told he had to fill out his emails of what he accomplished.
That email was sent across government agencies.
So it was sent to the FBI.
It was sent to.
So you just said it was never sent to the FBI. So was it or was it not?
It was sent to the FBI. I, as the director of the FBI, said we are not.
Who sent it?
We are not responding to it. It came from a general account at the department.
Okay, so then my next question is, that information that my FBI agent in my district sent to that agency, how is that information protected?
I'm sorry, are you saying the agent responded to that email?
Are you saying they did not?
I told the workforce not to.
But you just told me that they received the email.
We did.
So without this, let's just assume that they did. Where did that information go and how is it protected?
That information would have only been sent to their immediate supervisor, and every supervisor in the Bureau was told if they received any such information, it is not to be actioned in any way.
So what happened with that information with the supervisors?
I don't know. Well, I'll have to get back to you on that, if any was collected, but if it was,
So you said that the FBI, that a different agency sent that email. What was that agency?
it came from the Department of Justice.
Okay. And those emails never went back to the Department of Justice who requested it?
No, sir.
Okay. And you're 100% confident of that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The information that the supervisors had from those agents, where did that go?
That should not have been transmitted anywhere. We got on top of it fast enough where I believe, and I'll
Because you
double
thought
check.
it was wrong?
I thought
Why did you prevent it?
because the operational mandate that we have at the Bureau, in my opinion, prohibited the public disclosure of that information across our media.
So to be perfectly clear, the Department of Justice got it wrong.
I'm not speaking for the Department of Justice, as
But you
I
are
said.
saying that that directive was in complete conflict of what your procedures and processes are.
My procedures and processes are under the Department of Justice. I'm saying as a subordinate of the Department of Justice, that's where the email came from. I don't know where it came from on top of them.
But your directive was to make sure that the Department of Justice did not get the FBI information,
That no one got it.
except the supervisors. Why would they
If-
request it if they would never get it?
Well, the supervisors were told to stand down. What I'm trying to say is, when that email came in, we acted as fast as we could, I think the same day, to say we are not in a position to do that. Everybody hit pause till we figure out what to do. And the end result was, we at the FBI are not complying with that request to publicly do so. And we told agents that if you feel the need to express that information to your supervisors, only do so on the classified system.
Okay. The information that I received, that personal conversation that I had, that agent didn't seem like he felt the need. He felt it was a directive. I thank you for your forthcoming. I look forward to working with you. The purpose of me bringing up this questioning was to make sure that that information is secure.
Yes, sir.
Thank you
I'll
very
double
much.
check.
Mr. Moore.
I yield back.
What Representative Mr. Van exposed in that hearing wasn't just administrative confusion, it was a systematic breakdown of accountability within federal law enforcement. When Patel admitted the FBI received Department of Justice emails requesting agent productivity reports, but instructed supervisors to stand down, he revealed a dangerous precedent where agencies selectively comply with oversight directives. The exchange began with Mr. Van pressing about weekly productivity emails that agents were allegedly required to send. Patel's initial denial, "We never did that," immediately crumbled when confronted with evidence. His correction revealed the FBI received DOJ requests but chose not to comply, creating a troubling gap between what headquarters ordered and what field offices experienced. This matters because it exposes two institutional failures. First, the breakdown in command structure when an agency head doesn't know what directives his personnel received. Second, the selective enforcement of departmental policies based on the director's personal judgment rather than established protocol. When Patel said supervisors were told to ignore the requests, he essentially admitted to insubordination dressed as protection. The security implications are staggering. Patel couldn't explain where collected information went or how it was protected. His promise to double-check on data handling procedures reveals an FBI director who doesn't understand his own agency's information flow. This isn't bureaucratic oversight, it's operational negligence. Ms. Van's questioning exposed how easily sensitive law enforcement data can disappear into administrative limbo. When federal agents operate with unclear chains of command and selective compliance, the result is exactly what we witnessed: confusion, contradiction, and zero accountability. The broader lesson is institutional. When law enforcement leaders pick and choose which oversight requests to honor, they're not protecting operational integrity, they're undermining it. Democracy requires agencies that answer questions honestly, not directors who create policy on the spot to avoid transparency. Consider the real-world impact. Field agents like the one Mr. Van mentioned who chase down a dangerous suspect across state lines now operate in an environment where their work might be documented, collected, or ignored, depending on shifting political winds. That uncertainty doesn't just affect morale, it affects public safety. When agents don't know if their reports will be protected, misused, or lost in bureaucratic confusion, they hesitate to document critical intelligence. Patel's repeated promises to get back on fundamental questions about his own agency reveal a leadership vacuum at the FBI's highest level. This isn't about partisan politics. It's about competence. When a director can't explain basic data flows or security protocols, the entire counterterrorism, cybercrime, and organized crime apparatus suffers. The exchange also highlighted how easily federal oversight can be circumvented through semantic games. Patel's distinction between never doing something and receiving but not complying shows how institutional resistance operates in practice. Agencies that resist legitimate oversight today will resist congressional investigations tomorrow. What makes this particularly dangerous is the precedent. If the FBI can selectively ignore DOJ directives based on the director's personal judgment, what prevents other agencies from doing the same? The result is a federal government where accountability depends on individual whim rather than institutional structure. The timing matters too. This email controversy emerged as the FBI faces unprecedented scrutiny over its handling of sensitive investigations. Patel's inability to provide clear answers about basic administrative processes raises questions about his capacity to manage far more complex counterintelligence and national security operations. When a director stumbles over email protocols, how can Congress trust him with classified briefings or international cooperation agreements? Mrvan's persistence also revealed how easily government transparency can be sabotaged through bureaucratic confusion. By creating multiple layers of supervisors, classified systems, and immediate responses, agencies can effectively bury information without technically violating disclosure laws. This administrative shell game makes genuine oversight nearly impossible.